Okay, Meyer Rabbi Safrelichen, belated Tuba of. Today is Tes Zion. We'll get to today's feature eventually. Yesterday we posted in text form, a beautiful kasha of the Gvuras Hari with two mahalchim, and I thought it would be worthwhile to present in audio form the same. Of course, I'm a day late, which means I'm exactly on time for my standard. It's Baruch Hashem, so many simchas, so much traveling, and other excuses I could offer. But let's get to the point. Today, Chamishas Ba'av was a day like Hayu Yom Tov Yisrael ki Chamishas Ba'av v'Yom Kippurim. Okay. And the Gemara discusses, we understand Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, the greatness of Yom Kippur is understood. You hear that? You hear that? Just by the way, in the Gemara, it's self-evident. It's like a Dar Pashut. Bishlama Yom Kippurim. Yom Dispaslich Mechila. Nitnu by Luchas Achraitis. Right? We had a day where what? Yom Kippurim, the Gemara says it's Pashut. That Yom Kippurim is a day, a Yom Tov, that has no parallel. That we understand. Abatuba of Chamishas B'Av, Maihi, what is it? So the Gemara gives 6 or 6.5, whatever it is, different suggestions as to why, what is the nature, why, what occurred on Chamishas B'Av, that it should have that special, unique status shared with Yom Kippur, that it was a day, Le'hayu Yom Tov Yisrael, Le'hayu Yom Tov Yisrael Chamishas B'Av. And one of the reasons given, the last Amud in the Masechta Tainis, last stop, I think it's Lamed Aleph and Aleph, is Ramas Na'omar, what? After the terrible tragedy of the Beitar massacre, the bodies that never decayed were finally given to burial after many years of lying astray in a field. Rahman al-Islam, they were finally nitla l'kfura. Okay, the Gemara says that they were, they were sacking the bracha about because of that. Okay, comes the Gvuras Mi, says 1 second. Wait a minute. Whoa, hold up. Again, why is there a yontif of Chamishas B'Av? Because of their Masna offers that the reason is because it's the day that Nitnei Haruge Beitar L'Kfura, the slain, the dead of Beitar from the Beitar massacre, are finally buried. When did that take place? That took place many years after the Churban Abayis. In fact, the Medrash tells us that it was 52 years after the Churban that the tragedy of Beitar occurred, and maybe 20, 25 years later they were Nitnei L'Kfura. So it's a good 70 years at least, more than that, 75, whatever, after the Churban that this took place. So the Brisa says the Mishnah says, the Brisa says that they would all borrow, the Mishnah says that the girls, when they would go out and dance, would go out, they would dance, and it says, they would all borrow dresses one from another. Now the Brisa says, Taner Rabbanon, Bas Melech Shos and Bas Kohen Gadol, Bas Skan, Bas Shul V'chon, etc. Excuse me. The Brisa says that even the most aristocratic of families, all the girls would borrow dresses. No one wore their own dress. So that those that didn't have their own would what? Would borrow from each other. A beautiful practice. Everybody borrowed. For those, so as not to embarrass those that were so destined that they had to borrow a dress, even the most aristocratic and wealthiest of families, the daughter of the Melech, the daughter of the Kohen Gadol, would borrow from each other. And the way the Bryce expresses it is Bas Melchus, Bas Kohen Gadol, Bas Skan. This is over 70, 75 years after the Churban Abayis. There's no Kohen Gadol, there's no Melech, there's no Skan. How could the Mishnah possibly say that, again, if the whole reason why we have Chamishas B'Av is because of what took place in the aftermath of Haruge Beitar, so how could the Brisa say that because of that occasion they would borrow dresses from each other, even the Bas Melech from the Bas Kohen Gadol? Ein kan loy Melech, ein kan loy Kohen Gadol, ein kan loy Skan. There's no more. There is no Melech. There is no Kohen Gadol. It's long after the Churban Abayis. Frektik Gvuras Hari. So how could it be that, in other words, according to Ramasna's reason, the whole reason of Chamishas B'Av came into existence, the Yontif only came into existence after Churban Abayis. So how could it be Frek the Gvura Sari? How could it be? What's the shot? It doesn't work. The Brisa says that they would dance. The Bas Melech they would borrow dresses from each other. There is no Melech, there's no Kohen. So comes along the Gvura Sari and he says, very interesting. At first it might seem like brow reason, but it really works nicely. Comes the Gvura Sari, the Shagasari, the Heilige Shagasari says, listen, maybe the Brisa is describing what took place. The way Rav Masna will learn is that the Brisa is describing what took place on Yom Kippurim. Meaning, the Mishnah is the one that says, they would go out and dance because Stados of Bekramim. The Brisa just says, the Brisa never says anything about Tu B'Av. So Zok the Heilig Gvura Sari, maybe Rav Masna will learn who told you that the Brisa is referring to Chamishas B'Av. It's talking about the practice that was done on Yom Kippur. Memela. So Yom Kippur existed since the Torah was given, right? So Avada, there you have a Bas Melech, a Bas Kohen Gadol. It makes sense. Aber Avada, the Brisa is talking, not referring to Chamishas B'Av. The Brisa never said anything about Chamishas B'Av. It just said, it's telling you the practice of what was done on Yom Kippurim, not Chamishas B'Av. Okay, it works. Very interesting. When I was discussing this question of the Gvura Sari of David Cohen Shlita, Gvul the Maridasser Camp Monk in Brooklyn, and also in Brooklyn, he said to me, I don't hear the kasha. And he said like this, when Rav Masna offers his reason of Nitnei Rugid Beit Gvura, is Rav Masna telling you the sole occurrence that took place on Chamishas B'Av? About not. All Rav Masna is doing is he's saying yet another Ma'ura, another occurrence, another Maisa, to add to the other Shitas of the Tanaim Amorayim. Meaning, it's not a machlokes as to Chamishas B'Av Mahiv, why is Chamishas B'Av Yantif? It's not a machlokes Amorayim. They just each Amayra gave his different reasons. So Rav Masna is adding. Avad Rav Masna would agree that Chamishas B'Av existed since scriptural times. It's just that not a machlokes. Rav Masna is adding yet another reason. This is also the day that Nitnei Rugid Beit Gvura. So it's not a kasha b'chlal. Rav Masna is adding yet another event that occurred on this auspicious day. No, a beautiful little shtickle Torah. Kasha the Gvura Sari with his own answer and an answer of Rav David Cohen Shlita of Gvul Yaivitz. Either way, let us all be zaycha to the day, like the Gemara in Tainus ends, Asra Kadosh Baruch Hu. And they'll say, it should happen. Everybody should be well. Kol Tov.